It's my favorite time of the week. That's right. It's a new episode and I get to chat with you about things wandering through my head, or in this case, your head. Hello, my name is Guy and this is Off My Bridge. And today we are looking at a request from Bokuk Gaming. And Bokuk Gaming asked the question about how to deal with values and determination. And I went, you know what? It's not just values and determination that are problematic. It's values, traits, focuses. These are problematic insofar as they are nebulous terms. They are purposefully ambivalent or ambiguous because that's what they're meant to be. They're meant to be opportunities for the players to be creative and to come up with stuff based on some ideas rather than being super prescriptive. But from a design perspective, it makes a lot of sense. Instead of having 10,000 focuses, one for each of the different aspects of, let's say, warp dynamics, they just went warp dynamics. That covers warp bubbles, it covers warp fields, it covers warp phenomena, it covers everything that has to do with warp and subspace. You could argue as well, because warp is about getting into subspace. So it was designed to allow you to have creative freedom and also not to have a rule book that was 1,000 pages long and that you're constantly looking up because no one can remember every single little sub detail of what is and what is not included. But that does leave it up to you as the GM to interpret just how much latitude the players have when it comes to interpreting these terms. So how do I do it? Well, I have three aspects that I generally use, three guidelines, if you will, and they are mechanical, logical, and rule of cool. Mechanically, when you look at traits, values, focuses, they are designed to give the character using it, generally speaking, a +1, +2, +3 advantage for 2 momentum in that kind of ballpark. So we're looking at a small advantage. Could be a reroll of a die, could be to get plus damage, it could be to increase, but generally speaking, it's within a small confined space. So if a player is trying to create a trait and says, oh, I want to create a trait that allows me to have +5 on my attacks, or to lower the difficulty by 5 increments, or to increase the potency by 5, no, that's too much. On the first turn, go ahead, spend 2 momentum, or make this difficult roll, or both, and then you get a +1. On the next turn, you can spend more, and then you get a +2. That's how Star Trek works. It is in incremental values of small steps. So I look at the whatever term it is, value, focus, or trait, and mechanically I go, well, this is the outcome. If it has a mechanical outcome, some of them might not have mechanical outcomes. I want to make the god feel intimidated. Okay, well, is that a mechanical outcome? Is there a plus there? Is there a minus there? It could be. There could be a negative, or the amount of successes they need to succeed against not being intimidated is increased by 1. That's certainly one interpretation of it. But wanting them to be cowed, wanting them to be reduced to not being able to act, that's not really a mechanical effect. You could argue it is. Again, that's why these are nebulous, but that's why it's your job to decide. But it might not be applicable. So then you go, okay, well, if I can't use mechanics here, I'll use my second process, which is logic. I want to use my value, which says I hate Ferengi, to gain determination when I am attacking a Klingon. But how? Where is the logical chain? How do you flow from that decision to your outcome? You hate Ferengi, so why do you have an advantage against Klingons? Why would you have anything against Klingons whatsoever? Because, yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. So logic often will help you, as the Vulcans will perpetually claim. Logic can help you to sometimes dismiss things in an impartial way, so that you don't feel like you're just saying no to the players whenever they're trying to create something or come up with something. At the same time, someone goes, oh, well, I should be able to have an advantage. I should be able to get an extra d20, or I should be able to get a reroll on my d20 because I have the focus of repair electrical systems, and this is an electrical system. No, you get the focus ability, which is your department range for critical successes. You don't get anything else. You don't get anything over and above that. That's simple rules application, but it is still logical. Okay, well, hang on a moment. However, if the player then said, well, look, I've got a focus in warp field dynamics. I have a value which says I love experimenting with strange new stuff, and I am trying to understand the warp dynamics of the enemy alien ship. I feel that I should be able to really succeed on this roll, and I don't just want my critical range to increase. I want to create the trait, this is my area of expertise. Ah, you have given me a whole bunch of reasons why this trait should be perhaps more than just a trait 1. You've literally listed a whole bunch of things. So logically, it makes sense. Mechanically, that doesn't exist within the rule system. Now, if mechanics and logic don't help you, then there's rule of cool. And rule of cool is a slippery slope. And I hate giving advice to people and saying, oh, there's this, oh, and then there's the hand-wavy one. I hate hand-wavy suggestions. So what you're saying is all of the other stuff, just ignore it because there's the hand-wavy one. No. The hand-wavy one, or in this case, rule of cool, is if everybody at the table sits back and goes, oh, that's brilliant. That's perfect. Yes, that makes sense. You might look at it and go, it's a stretch of logic. Mechanically, it's not supported, but I like it. I really like it. I really, 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 really like it. I am going to allow you to do it. However, let us see if the dice will decide. Because something that is often overlooked is the dice are telling the story with us. Whether we like it or not, they are influencing that story in a phenomenal way. And I don't think that there is any argument to be made that the 2d20 system has any less effect with their dice in terms of story influence. It's just perfect opportunity to say, all right, yes, you have all of these things. You want to do this a cool and amazing and wonderful thing. It's going to take you 5 successes, or it's going to take you 4 successes. Push that level. You've got that for a reason. And if they do it, well, then the rule of cool applies. Forget the logic, forget the mechanics, and you go, you know what? This just somehow worked. But don't make it a habit. Question first, mechanically does this work? Logically does this work? No and no. I'm sorry, I really don't see it working. I really don't see it happening. This should be a get out of jail, emergency, Hail Mary type of thing, and you need to make it difficult so that the players also don't try and take advantage of the rule of cool and go, oh, well, I think it would be cool if I, managed to shoot the Chancellor from a kilometer away using my phaser. Huh? No. How? What would you do? What are you doing? Take me through the processes. Your phaser doesn't have that kind of range. Logic steps in there. Mechanics step in there before rule of cool is even considered. On the other hand, if it's a desperate leap through the air to fire their phaser to be at exactly the same time as the enemy is firing their phaser, trying to assassinate the Emperor, and the 2 phaser beams collide with one another, it's not logical. Who knows? Is it mechanical? Definitely not. Rule of cool? I think it applies. Make it difficult. Yes, whatever your opponent rolls to hit, how many successes they get, you need to get that, plus 2 successes on top of it. So if they get 5 successes, you need 7. Good luck getting 7 successes. One final sneaky approach, for those of you who have watched all the way through to the end, I often look at precedent. Has it been done in Star Trek before? I have watched most of the series, so I have the advantage. I have watched all the films. I also remember most of the details in those shows, in those films. And so I will be able to sit back and go, you know what? You're absolutely right. In that episode in season 4 or whatever it was, yes, they did that. And yes, you can do it, even though mechanically or logically it doesn't make sense. In that case, it was a script writer being lazy, plot, armor, whatever. It's been done before, it's been established, yes, you can do it. Now, this doesn't help if you haven't watched everything. If you don't have a vast knowledge of what has been done before, it doesn't really apply. Hence why I kept it as a secret, additional bonus. Anyway, until next time, remember to hit that bell button so you can be alerted as to when new videos come out. Of course, subscribing to the channel helps me know that you like this channel, and leaving comments about what other videos you'd like to see would be really great. Big thank you to Bo Cook Gaming for suggesting today's video, and there are many more coming up by popular demand. I might just say, Tach ba, Tach bech.